Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahushai, Brakat Yahweh, Brakat Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutation to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zedakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity on the pre-Shemon. I'm going to give an update, all right, to the recent lesson I just did concerning Saudi Arabia not renewing the agreement with the petrodollar that it has with the United States, which is going to take, great toll on the United States. That might happen gradually over time, but it's definitely gonna have a huge effect. And the update is this: look, Saudi Arabia is leaning towards China's Mbridge Cbdc digital currency, right? A central bank digital currency that it's that China proposed. You see what I'm saying? China proposed this central bank digital currency. Now, if you hear Fed Chairman Powell, Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, when he speaks on it, he tells you, look, we have no intention to lean towards the CBDC. We don't want to do a central bank digital currency. The House of Representatives, they were, ruling against a CBDC. So it's kind of contradictory, right? Because one minute the House is putting together a bill to ban the Federal Reserve from producing their own CBDC, all right, central bank digital currency, okay, which the executive branch and I believe the judicial branch, all right, is leaning towards it. So it seems like it's okay to have a CBDC currency when it's in favor of the United States and the Feds are leading it. But if China is leading it, well, Fed Chairman Powell says that's an invasion of privacy or what have you, and the banks should be in charge. He doesn't want governments in charge, because over China, it's a straight monarchy. The government runs their shit. But here in the United States, the central banks runs everything, not the government, the central banks. And the Federal Reserve is a privately owned entity, and they want to keep the power within the Federal Reserve's hands. And China was so bold to push Mbridge not just towards Saudi Arabia, but to the United States as well. So again, like I said in these previous lessons, I've been saying for a number of years, the elites, think of it like Game of Thrones. Think about it as fighting families fighting for that particular Game of Thrones. Now, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. What's this transgression by wine? His philosophies. This is going to the so-called white man. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. This is going to backfire in the United States, because they've been pushing American influence all throughout the world, just like they do under the Greeks or the Romans or what have you. But it's going to backfire because the philosophies that America has pushed, okay, the other nations are not with it. Now, another sort of thing that the United States has pushed is the inflation of currency, right? Just printing more money. Things used to be bartered, things used to be backed by something. But Judah goes into a Babylonian money magic, all right, printing money over thin air, all right. These other nations tried it and they got fucked by doing it. Why? Because they were not backed by the petrodollar, okay? See, the United States, whenever they want to issue more treasury debts or, put more money in circulation, okay, yes, that increases inflation, but what the United States has is the ability to export those dollars. Okay, I was watching a video by Andrew Schick, and he said, look, 80% of first of all, there are more $100 bills in circulation than $1 bills. And 80% of those $100 bills are in circulation outside of the United States. So when the United States wants to print more money, the advantage they have over other countries and other economies is they could deflate it a little bit by exporting those dollars to different countries, because the United States dollar is used as the international highway for the world, because it's tied to the petrodollar. If we want to do business and sell goods to each other, that requires transportation. That transportation again requires petroleum. Okay, so that United States dollar had the flexibility to deflate artificially, okay, by sending dollars out to other countries, because they would peg to the dollar. The oil was pegged to the dollar. But now with the initiation of BRICS, and China coming up with its own CBDC, meaning we don't have to use dollars. We don't have to transact in these large transaction fees. We can use Mbridge, okay, a central bank digital ledger, okay, to help countries out and aid them extremely quickly, all right, without the printing and relying on paper currency. So these are huge blows, okay, to the United States in terms of their hegemony, all right. Now it says, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, when enlargeth his desire as how he wants it all. But these other nations are now fighting back. Now, like I mentioned in the last lesson, okay, a lot of the heads of these other nations are crypto Jews, all right, crypto Amalekites, all right. So that also plays a factor in the fact that Esau, at the end of the day, Job 9:24, the earth is given in the hands of the wicked. You have straight up looking Edomites running shit, and you also have Edomite foreigners, Amalekite foreigners, running the other nations. Okay, they're infiltrated. It says, think of Agrippa with us. You know, Agrippa was a Roman leader who had Edomite father, Jake mom. He became king. Sorry, his progenitor, Herod is a progenitor, intermingled with us and took on our ways, philosophies, customs, ideas, and became leaders over us to the point that they believed that they were also Jews, but they weren't, because, you know, the genealogy is determined by your father. I'm sorry, not to get too much on a tangent. Let's get back on this right here. His desires is hell and is as death, and he cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth up unto him all people. Let's have everybody speaking English. Let's have everybody using US dollars. Let's have everybody, let's have every major city in the world look like Manhattan, okay? Let's have your women be promiscuous. Let's have LGBTQ everywhere. Let's have your kids be equal to you. And the list goes on in terms of just unrighteous decrees. It says, 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay. Thick clay is debt, okay? That's how the United States, or the central bank of the United States, run shit through debt. Issuing more United States treasuries, printing more dollars, okay? Nations had enough of it. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So, look, you know what's happening? These nations are saying, to hell with the American system. We could do our own central bank digital currency, okay? Void of the United States dollar. We don't have to commute in transaction fees. The United States will retaliate, man, okay? And that's just leading up more tensions for World War III. And this is stuff we love, because it just lets us know that, you know, we almost there. But, you know, seeing the nation stand up against America, saying, look, we're going to have our own central bank digital currency, and, you know, let's stay away from the dollar. We don't have to transact. We have BRICS now. We could back our CBDC by gold. This is this should be Joel 3:10. It's like right here. It says 1:10. You brothers know where I'm going at. Joel chapter 3 verse 10 says, Joel 3:10 says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Every sort of investment you guys are doing into agriculture, what have you, let's invest that now into war instruments, missiles, 3D printed drones, things to do with war. It says, verse 10, it says, let the weak say I am strong. Now the weak represents the other nations who were once, you know, beholden to the United States. Now, look, why were they so afraid of the United States? The United States dropped Fat Man and Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War I, and that put the entire world in fear. Now, nuclear capabilities, if I don't have it as a nation, guess what? I can barter what I have in my resources to a larger nation that has it. Okay, and we're seeing Gog and Magog, Russia, acting as a guard onto these weaker nations, protecting the Middle Eastern nations, African nations, all right, saying, look, you can join BRICS, all right, you could come up with your own CBDC. We got you, I got you, China got you. We don't have to be afraid of this big bad bully America anymore, okay? And again, we're seeing the shift of the power dynamic, you know? So the central banks are fighting other central banks, the central banks of the United States, all right? Because remember, that was what PNAC was about. Project for a New American Century was a plan by Israel, all right, to come over here, to come, not here, but come to the Middle East, okay, and destroy about 5 countries, okay? And you'll find out a lot of those countries didn't have Federal Reserve banks in them, okay? They used 9/11, okay, as a Pearl Harbor type event, okay, to get over there and start that war. Look up the dancing Israelis. These sorts of stuff could get you banned, man. These sorts of stuff could destroy you. All you're doing is just speaking factual events, but if you're not, you know, preaching or saying the narrative that the mainstream media has put out, then guess what? They could destroy you. You see, financially, character assassinations. But you can't do that with other superpowers. You could do it with, you could try it as much as you want with Vladimir Putin and shit to you know, to tarnish his name or what have you, and these different other military leaders, you know. But guess what? You have things like TikTok now. You have these different social media sites where people now are independent journalists. They record what's going on actually on the ground, okay, and tell people. And now the world has an unbiased view of things and could formulate their own opinion. You see? That's how come you have this whole Free Palestine movement, man. Okay? Because back in the 90s, you'd only see what, you know, what was on TV. There was no internet like that. So you kind of just, whatever you read in the newspaper, that's what most people believe. So the dynamics has changed. The world around us is changing, man. Right? The scriptures tell you that knowledge shall increase, okay? And, you know, the Most High, you know, Psalm 64 is, you know, shedding a light on the elites and those that work in darkness, you know? And it's really, again, elitists going against elitists. For whose favor? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's favor. Isaiah 14:24. Surely if he's spoken, so shall it come to pass. Okay, so the Saudi Arabia ditching a dollar and then leading towards, you know, China's Mbridge Cbdc has huge implications, man. Again, Romans 13:11, our salvation is nearer than it seems, and these types of things are just hastening the day of our deliverance, you know, of the end. So we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rachakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.